we going, everyone? I thought I'd do a repotting segment for you. Well, not for you, it's for me actually, because I've ignored this poor plant. Now, I had a male version. What I'm looking at here, if you haven't recognised already, is a kiwi fruit, a vine. Now, this is the female, and the female's called Haywood. And there is a male as well, but he's gone to God, to a better place. He's dried up. And why he's dried up is because they've been thriving on, well, surviving on neglect. I won't say thriving, because this is far from thriving. Now, with kiwi fruit, they don't like high winds. They need to be planted, near conifers. A hedge especially is perfect for them. They get beaten to hell and back if they're in high winds, and they'll become very less productive. And a great way to climb them, or grow them, I should say, is by creating a framework. And I haven't done it yet. So I've had this one here and the other one. Well, I had a couple of females and a male kiwi fruit, because you need two for pollinating, for cross-pollinating. In fact, you only need one male and up to 3 or 4 females, because he's a big boy and he can do the job to be able to get the wonderful fruit on these plants. Now, to grow these, the best way I've seen them, and the most successful way, is not on a flat wall, but rather on a canopy. So create a structural frame, which is not an arch, but a flat rooftop. You can have like an arbor if you like, but with a flat surface. It'll climb up and crawl all over the top, as grapes do, as like the wisteria that I have does, and then the kiwis will hang inside. But they need to be away from direct wind. They need as much sunlight as they can get, but without that northerly or even southerly wind, whichever way it blows, as long as it's not blowing directly on them. It'll shred the leaf, because it's a little bit furry, the leaf as well, and it is very, very delicate too. So it's so easily damaged with the high winds. It'll dehydrate it, it'll shrivel up, and the plant starts to go backwards. Now, this one's been in this pot, well, I've had it for 1.5 years, and that's, well, me saying that, I should be ashamed of myself, because this should have been potted up at least 1 year ago. So I'm going to start now, and I've got a heap of plants that I need to repot, and I thought I'd show you what I do with my plants. Everybody's got their own method. Firstly, before we go into that, well, let's talk about the size that it's in. It's an 8-inch pot. It wasn't grown in here. It was a bare-rooted plant. The roots, when they get dug up, get cut down to a smaller size, get shoved in here, because have a look at the thickness of this stem. It's a graft as well. You can see the graft there. That's been done, and that's been there, this is at least 3 or 4 years old, if not more. And at that age, this plant should have had a bigger root ball, a huge root ball in fact, and the vine on top should have been cascading everywhere by now, at least 2 or 3 meters in every direction. What we got to do is clean off the dead wood, and you can see where it is quite easily. If you don't know if it's dead or not, and it's hard to tell sometimes, scratch it. See that? There's nothing underneath there. It's as dry as a bone. Let's go up here. Let's just scratch around here, because we know this will be alive. See the green underneath? That's an indicator. That's what you look for, the first sign to tell you there's sap flowing, there's moisture there, that's alive. This little stub here is dead. And I'm going to cut it off. Hello, Cara. How are you, sweetheart? Ooh, did you knock your head off there? Nearly broke the table. All right, so what have we got here? We've got some dead wood here, dieback, and I'm using the basic. This is a great little secateurs, by the way. Rice's secateurs. Oh, come on, puppies, please, not now. Come on, go. Which way? This way. Go. That's it, go hunt the rabbit. Beautiful secateurs, nice and easy to use, and very cheap too. Look what I just done. It looked dead to me, and I didn't scratch that. That looks dead. But if you have a closer look, I haven't got my glasses on. I didn't even bring them. That part there is dead. No, it's not. See? Got that one wrong. Even us experts get it wrong. Well, I like to think I'm a little bit of an expert, but I got that one wrong. So that's not actually dead. Is this dead? No, it's not dead. That's got to be dead. That's dead. So we'll cut it back just below that. That might all die back there, because look, that was a wrong cut. Again, this is where I should have cut it, because that's where the node is, the obvious one. There's nothing along here. That might die back. We'll just leave it for now, and we'll see what happens with that, because we might have to cut it back. Further down here, this is dead. We'll cut that off. Let's just cut it back to there. Oh, look at that. That's dead. Have a look at that in there. See that in there? That's gone. In actual fact, this whole stem, this is the one we scratched earlier. That's completely gone. So we need to take it off here. Okay. Now, I didn't bring any styrofoam paint or tree stack. That needs to be sealed over, folks. Don't leave it open like that. On a summer's day, that'll be fine. It'll dry out, callus over. But if it's going to be a little bit damp in the air, if the moisture's in the air, better to paint it over to seal it rather than taking the risk. So I'll just finish cleaning this off. Like that there, cut that off there. There's not much to clean off here. There's a little bit there, and that's still alive. All right, let's leave it at that for now. Wait a second, is that alive? No, that's dead too. Cut that off, a bit further back. There we are. All right, repotting. First, we take the weeds out. You can take it out after you've taken it out of the pot, but I'm just going to pull them out like this for now. Keep them aside. Let's pop this out. Oh, this is a sad, sorry sight, isn't it? Look at that, how dehydrated that is. Now, it's not pot bound, but it definitely hasn't grown its roots, that's for sure, folks. There's nothing really going on there. A little bit of mealybug starting to develop, and that you can just rub it off and kill it off like that. It is moist, actually. We've had a bit of rain, but it's not enough to keep this thing going and thriving. So what we're going to do here, we're going to tease these roots out a little bit. Normally you would do this just before springtime, but you know, at the end of the day, if you've got a plant that's struggling, and the longer you leave it, the harder it's going to be for it to recover, and the longer it's going to take to recover. So rather than just sitting back and saying, no, it's not the right season, there's never the perfect time. I mean, there are some sort of perfect time, you know, as far as repotting and planting certain plants. But when a plant's struggling, and this one here definitely is, or has been struggling, the quicker I do this, the quicker it will recover. And obviously take and practice a bit of caution and care when you do this. So I'm just breaking all this away. If this was rock hard, the soil that is, and I couldn't do this and break it away this freely, sink it in a bucket of water, you know, a tub of water, let it soak off so you don't tear away all these fibrous little roots. See how they're coming and being exposed? They're okay. So I'm just pressing carefully, and I can feel where it's hard and where it's soft, and just working my way through. Carefully agitating and letting the soil fall away. You don't have to take away all the soil, but a bit of a tease without tearing it is going to stimulate new growth on this. You know, I'm going to leave the soil in the middle intact, because that's, there we are, there's the main root there. You can see where it was cut off when it was dug out. And these are all the other roots that were growing previously. We've got some new roots coming on. So the tree's alive, obviously it is. There is growth on top. All right, that's all we really need to do in this case. I don't need to take out, if I take out all the soil in the middle there, I'm going to struggle to get it back in there again. There is a way to do it, but you're better off leaving the core intact, getting rid of the stuff on top. Just shake this through like that. And now I'm going to plant it in a grow bag, a grow pot. These are the felt bags, and I've got my citrus trees growing in these. For those who've asked about the longevity of these bags or pots, they've been in there about a year. I've had some in the veggie garden for about 2 years, 2.5 years. Still as good as the day I planted them. Actually, a couple of them I hit very lightly with the brush cutter. It will tear it, obviously, because it's felt material, but a light hit caused no damage at all. If you get really hard on it like you do, well, look, the brush cutter will destroy a tree and ring bark it easily, so of course it'll tear this. But as it is standing alone, undisturbed with its moisture and soil, it doesn't break down that quickly. What are we putting in here? Sea greens. All right. A little bit of soil at the bottom, or potting mix in this case. We're putting at the bottom. The sea greens is a blend of animal manure, cow manure, seaweed, bark, charcoal, and all the wonderful nutrients and mediums you need to have a quality potting mix. So a little bit at the bottom. Let's just eye this off. I don't like covering the graft. There's a fashion nowadays where you can cover it. That's sitting just above there. That's great. About an inch or two, or what's 25 to 50 mil below the top is what you want to cover the soil with. I'm actually going to bring this up higher so I can get more root growth down below. I don't need to sit it that deep. So a bit more soil again. So potting up is a pretty straightforward thing, folks. There's nothing fancy or special about it. Just get it in there properly. There we are. So have a look at that. Now we've got plenty of soil underneath, or potting mix underneath, and room up here for it all to grow up. So we're going to keep, well, we might plant it to the centre like that. So to the one side won't matter at all. The plant will actually grow its roots around. And because it can breathe like that, this will never become pot bound. Now before I do that, another good tip, folks, rather than just putting it on top, is your black grit, sprinkle it inside and mix it through. I put a couple of small handfuls in there at the base, and then we'll add a little bit more on top. So back on top it goes. Before we fill it up completely, to make sure it's filling up all the air pockets, a little bit of a shake like that, up and down, sideways, tap it, causing the soil or the potting mix in this case, to fall in between the little cracks and crevices where we took all the soil out in the first place. You don't want to leave any air pockets in it. That will dehydrate the roots, cause them to die off. It'll leather up on the outside and there won't be roots anymore. They'll just become like a stem. It will become non-productive. So make sure you shake it, and obviously when you do water it in, it will also help compress it. I don't force it down. I'm going to keep this in a nice sort of protected environment. If you're going to put it out in the open, or if it's a very top heavy plant, you may need to stake it up, and obviously press the soil down if you want to. I like it to compact on its own naturally as I water it in. Now I've got one bag for this. This is a 400mm pot, and this is a 30-litre bag of sea greens potting mix, and it's just perfect, I think, the quantity. Well, we can do with a little bit more because this will sink. This will sink. Look at that. Okay, that's all we do there. Again, folks, you can do all this if you like. Push it down on the outside, but really, it's not what I like doing. Unless it's going to fall over, you don't really need to. Black grit again. Mix it through like that. That's all it needs. And the last part of this is, well, let's get it off the table and give it a water with our liquid gold at this stage. You don't have to put the Eco Butch in at this point. Add it in about a month's time and do that every month from there on. So liquid gold to water it in, our high quality seaweed solution, and the rest, plenty of morning sun, protect it from the afternoon wind or just the wind really. It needs the afternoon sun, but having the afternoon sun, more than likely we get a lot of wind as well. So find a nice protected spot so you can enjoy the beautiful fruit that comes off this. And again, male and female. One male, 2, 3, 4 females, perfect for it. They can grow together, twine through a nice framework that you have, and make some beautiful, what would you make with it? I don't know, what could you, kiwi juice? Has anybody ever kiwi juice? I don't know. Just kiwi fruit with a bit of ice cream and nuts. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com, folks. We've got some great specials running on there. The sea greens is on there as well, and we just released our seed raising mix pack for you so you can sow some beautiful seed summer range of vegetables and fruit if you like. And the rest of it's all yours to enjoy. From me, Vasili, Maresi, that's vasilisgarden.com.